meet someone? Did she meet someone? No. Did she save money for a trip and build something instead?
No.
No. Is it okay that our guesses were wrong?
Sure.
Yeah. Because then when we're reading, we're like, oh, that didn't happen, but this happened, right? So what happened to her? What do you think some of the ironies are here? What happened? Let's just start with what are some of the main points? What are some of the main things that happened to her during COVID, or that she brings up about COVID?
She was in Georgia.
Yeah, so Georgia,
project.
so Georgia is a state in the United States, but Georgia is also a country. So it's actually pretty near Afghanistan. It's in this area. So that's where she was living on a project. Now I can't find it, of course. I found it earlier. It's in here somewhere in the green. So she was there working on a project. What else do we know that happened?
She lost her grandpa.
She lost her grandpa, so she was in Georgia. So she wasn't on a trip, but she was on work, I think, or on a project. She lost her grandpa. What else? In the beginning, what did she think?
It was getting worse.
Yeah, so it's getting worse, pandemic worse. So in the beginning, she thought it was a joke, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else kind of like in the beginning, oh, like people are overreacting, this will just pass, right?
Yeah.
So she thought it was a joke in the beginning. And then the irony comes in that she actually found some things that really have kept her busy and kept her going. Even though she lost her grandpa, even though all this stuff is happening, what were those things for her? What were some things that she was able to...
She started learning new language.
Yes, started learning...
Reading books, watching movies.
Yeah, exactly. So all those things that we say we don't have time for, right?
We have time now.
Yeah. Anybody else here been tempted to learn a new language?
Oh, I would love to do
Yeah.
sign language.
Learning new language, books on her to-do list. That has been a huge one for me during the pandemic. All these books I had lined up that I said I never have time for because I'm running around with my kids. Now I can actually sit down and read those books. It's been wonderful. Books and movies. Who else here has been watching a lot of movies? More than usual. More than before the pandemic.
I watch more less.
Less! Okay! Anybody? Same? Joy?
I watch less now.
Less? I think I probably watched more. Now my mom's subscription to Netflix ended and we don't want to pay for it ourselves. So she had us on her subscription. Now we don't watch any movies, but yeah. So the irony is that these are pretty bad things. She lost her grandpa. The pandemic's getting worse. There's all these restrictions, but she was able to actually have time now to do these things. This is probably a common story, right? For a lot of people. Yeah, pretty common. One thing I wanted to ask you guys about is, what do you notice about how this story is formatted on the page? How it looks on the page?
Each one has their own thought.
Yeah. So every time, like this in my opinion, is actually one paragraph. Like if you would write this for me, I would say, go over here and press backspace. This is all one paragraph, right? It's not like you're going into lots of new information. Why do you think it is set up like this? You'll notice all of the stories we read are set up like this. Why do you think, what purpose? If we're thinking and organizing, why do you think the writer has it, they've organized it like this on the page?
Is it that it's easier to read or like?
For sure. Yeah, it definitely makes it easier to read. Yeah, for sure. Anybody else have an idea about why it might be formatted like that? And I'll show you exactly where I got the stories from. It's from the Story Center. So here's another one. This is the one we're going to read next. So if you look here, you can see how it's formatted. Why is it like that? And why does it look so different from how we're going to do it for our book?
It's a web page. One page.
It's a web page. It's a web page. So you'll notice newspaper articles and web page articles are formatted very differently from story books or even novels, right? So in the format of a web page or a newspaper article, that's what they do. Every time the author switches a little bit of an idea, they start a new line and they leave a space in between. technically this could be all one paragraph. Okay, I just wanted to point that one out for you guys. Okay. The next story that we're gonna read is my COVID-19 life in 2020. Now, predictions. Do you predict that some of these same things are going to come up? Some of these same ideas that we just read about?
Yeah.
Yeah, which ones do you think, or which ideas that we've been talking about do you think might pop up? If someone's talking about their COVID-19 life.
Wow.
What are some words we might read?
COVID-19.
COVID-19, okay. We're definitely going to see the word COVID-19 in the body of the text.
Stay at
For
home.
sure. Stay at home, okay. Stay home. We're going to maybe the person's going to talk about staying home, right?
Books.
Yeah. What's that?
Reading books.
Reading books. Yeah, maybe they'll talk about reading books.
FaceTime.
Uh-huh. FaceTime.
More Zoom.
Zoom, yeah, maybe the word Zoom will come up. One thing I'm super excited about, I want to do for our book, you guys, is create this glossary of all these words we use now that we never would have used before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Social distancing,
Restriction.
pandemic, Zoom fatigue, all these things that a year or 2 years ago we'd be like, what are you talking about? Is that another language? What is that, right? But now we all know what all these things mean, right? What other things might pop up in my COVID-19 life in 2020?
Connected more with her immediate family in her home.
Okay, connecting, yeah. Connecting with family. For sure. In your home. In home. Yeah. Because what else are you going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Any volunteers for reading this story? Or we can chop it up. You want to split the reading?
And I think a lot of people also never